Alright, fuckers, welcome back to Practicing Portraits, an artwod roadmap, right? What is artwod? The best platform in the world to teach you how to draw from imagination, where they give you the work, not the shortcut, work that lets you draw like this after 3 years and 9 months of practice from imagination, right? Who am I? I'm Viggy. This channel is a repository of my practice, roughly 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, right? To prove that anybody, especially you, can learn to draw and learn to enjoy drawing, learn to enjoy learning, right? And I'm building irrefutable video evidence, a mountain of fucking sheer proof of work, to completely prove it. What a fucking statement! Building proof of work to prove it. Good job, Biggie. Thank you, Biggie. Proud of you, Biggie. All right, Biggie, shut the fuck up and get your pen. Oh, what a segue! Get your pen, get your paper, and draw along with me. Let's focus on the one thing we can only ever control, which is the effort, right? So draw along, give me your attention, keep me on the background. Gluck, gluck, gluck. Oh fuck. I don't even know why I'm doing the dick sucking noise. That's usually reserved for Arturo or Antonio, the founder of artwod, right? But truly, artwod is the best. But just do 100 times the work they require of you, and watch your skills get better. Because I don't know how to draw people, right? I'm learning how to draw right now. I'm only in the mannequinization stage, the fucking first step for faces, right? I'm building a fucking extremely dense, consolidated schema with like multiple calculations and layers of perspective within it, right? That's what I'm currently focusing on. And yet, purely because I understand, purely because I understand form better, I can draw people like this. And I'll be completely honest, this was yesterday's practice, right? So the video prior to this, and like I just need to learn how to, and this is just before I start the video, like I guess for full transparency, because people need to know what I'm thinking, because drawing is thinking, and what I was feeling, and all that shit, right? Let you know we're all in the journey together. But even though I'm purely effort focused and not outcome focused, I do believe I was having some sort of expectation while I was drawing this, and like I simply didn't allow myself to truly internalize that I don't know how to draw any of this, therefore it's not going to look how I want it to, right? And I didn't have an idea where any of this was going either, so I was like literally figuring it out as I went through it, right? Like I see ideas now because I'm actually in more of a open-minded state, but like when I was drawing this yesterday, I was judging myself harshly because this looks stupid, right? I personally think this was dumb, but like I was genuinely trying to figure all of this out. Even this person, like this woman I was trying to draw, like everything, like her fucking tits are completely off, bro. Like it's literally shoved up her goddamn neck. But like the point is, like I don't know anatomy, really, right? I'm just drawing a fucking stick figure mannequin currently, but it's a lot of judgment was happening, whether I wanted to admit it or not, right? And plus I was trying to balance intuition and thinking, right? So I genuinely made an effort, and that's what I'm proud of. I genuinely did make an effort to do like 100% through all of this. I also don't think I rested my brain at all yesterday, only like twice, which obviously added to just my brain getting fatigued, not being able to make clear decision making or clear problem solving within my mind. But yeah, just so you know, like when I went through this, I was indifferent and I was enjoying the effort I was putting in, and then near the tail end I was very just subconsciously disappointed with myself. But now looking back, again, the effort is truly the only thing that matters. I don't know where I'm going with this. I just wanted to say, like, this is how I felt while I was drawing this, just so you know that these things are normal, and it's just a constant effort. It's just genuinely constantly reminding ourselves that no, like, we're just trying to figure it out, and it's about the process of becoming the person who continues to try to figure it out as they experience friction, cognitive load, like effort, fucking inertia, like the inability to even start, like all these things. It's just constantly trying to problem solve and believe in the fact that we'll figure it out. Like that's genuinely all that matters. So I'm saying this to remind myself, and I'm saying this to hopefully remind or give you that information as well, right? So with that being said, let's fucking start drawing. So what am I doing here, right? And also, like, all these drawings in the background are gonna completely fuck with my mind, right? Because they are going to be obstructions, but again, they're only obstructions as much as I let them be, right? But what am I doing? I'm looking at a portrait reference. I'm placing that portrait reference. By the way, angle ref, link in description. That's what I'm using now for like all the different angles that I'm trying to use for the faces and all that shit. Angle ref, really fucking good. It's a linked in description, right? It's all like I have what the fuck was that? I have a bunch of I have like a section in my description area that's like for resources. I think I could literally call it art resources I goon over. So like that should give you everything you need, right? From the simulation I'm trying to build in my mind to the broken draw in a Thoro Discord to artwod, right? So like these little angle these resources, that shit's just gonna get larger and larger, of course, over the decades as I find more resources, right? And with that being said, like I'm already thinking, right? I'm already thinking about the box. I'm really trying to, and I'm like, now I'm inducing cognitive load, right? And I'm simply purely just enjoying the cognitive load that I'm inducing onto myself, which is, right, the fact that I'm trying to think about the box. I'm trying to think about the overall 6-plane, all visible and invisible sides of the box. And I'm also trying to think about the center plane of the box as well. And I'm trying to think about the diagonal cross section, right? This horizontal center plane. I'm trying to think about the diagonal cross section, right? Visible and invisible. Again, like this is the, this is the box I'm trying to visualize, roughly, right? Like this is the box I am trying to visualize. And of course, like it needs to be a perfect cube as well. This is not a perfect cube, and the head is not a perfect cube. But that's the beautiful thing, is like this box only comes up to the nose, right? Based on the whole Loomis method thing, like because the sphere's in here, right? This is the sphere that's going to be placed in here, and then this is the Loomis jaw, roughly, that's jutting out, something like that, right? So that is why this box is only coming up to the nose, because like roughly the nose like right around there or some shit. I don't fucking know, but either way, that is the box I'm trying to visualize, and the schema I'm building, right, is being able to see all the invisible and visible planes and all the diagonal cross sections and those planes, right? But that's why, like right now, the skill I'm building is purely just looking at this dickhead's face. I think he's an astronaut, actually, so very intelligent, educated dickhead, right? Not intelligent, hardworking, persevering, what's it called? Consistent, passionate dickhead, right? We can't be attributing everything to an innate IQ, right? And I know some people will disagree, but those people haven't put in the work I have. So it's as simple as that. I don't know anybody who's actually tried, like genuinely tried, who sucks talent's dick as much as people who've never tried. Like that's what I'm consistently realizing, right? And that is a skill in of itself, because it takes consistency to note these things. But like, I literally don't know. And by the way, while I'm talking, I'm thinking. I'm taxing my working memory to think about the visible plane and the invisible plane and the diagonal cross sections in these planes, and also trying to. And again, this was recall, right? Because I'm interleaving. I haven't thought about this. What the fuck? I haven't thought about this in a week, like 8 days, right? So my brain, I'm actively forcing it to utilize the mental model, the cognition, the effort to recall and reconnect the skill of creating this schema and also ignoring this box underneath and this entire fuckery underneath, right? Like that is extremely difficult. But yeah, I genuinely don't see anybody, like because the thing is, there's a lot of professionals who will call their peers talented. There's a lot of professionals, like anybody like who's gotten really good, yeah, they'll call people around them talented. But what I've noticed is it always goes back to work ethic and the effort that they put in, the consistency those people have, and the decades they've gone over it, right? They use talent as a catch-all term for being good. Oh, that person's really talented. Like that person's really good. They understand this really well, blah, 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 right? Like I see how they use that language, right? Even, and this isn't just in art. This is in business. This is in anybody who's skilled, right? Like the word talent is, it's like the frame it's used in, right? The word talent is framed through, oh yeah, they're talented in the sense that, oh, they work their fucking ass off and they're really good. Oh, and like, I'm sure it's also used in the sense that like they work their ass off, they're really good, and they naturally understand like this better or this well. Cool, sure, whatever. Like I don't agree with that part, but the point is like, everybody has affinities, everybody has behaviors they're acclimated to, everybody's born with a predisposed set of characteristics in which they filter information better or worse, right? Like we all have that. Like I was born with slightly more patience, which is why I was able to draw, even if my lines were like that, right? That's the sound effect that I'm using. I don't know why, but even if my lines were just scritchy, and something that should have taken me 20 minutes took me an hour and a half, I just had the patience to simply persist and go through it for that hour and a half, right? And like, you know, endure the cognitive friction and the physical like discomfort that I was feeling, right? Other people would have been born with simply something that I would say is a lot better, which is line confidence and ability to understand proportions better, right? So they cut that fucking time. They don't even need the patience. So they don't have the patience, but they have this the slight behavioral what the fuck, I said it again, predisposed genetic behavior to allow them to achieve the output faster, right? The outcome faster, not output, I think, right? And that is where their talent lies. But then they don't build the patience, so they probably suffer from actually committing to the thing and realizing that, hey, once they get past that, and also once they actually get into a state of friction, right? This is the whole problem, is like people who are talented or just better at something do not know how to actually persist and enjoy learning the thing, right? Like right now, somebody who's talented and maybe was born with a slightly easier time understanding 3D space, the concepts of 3D space, not even 3D space, maybe like a better time visualizing, right, would not be able to do what I'm doing. They just wouldn't, right? They can, I completely believe they can, but I'm saying at a baseline state, they would not be able to, for hundreds and hundreds of hours, just work on building a schema that takes hundreds of hours to build, right? They would not be able to do it, right? Because they would not have the fucking patience to do it, you know? And I'm losing the schema like constantly. Like I'm genuinely trying to visualize the entire box and the diagonal cross section, that I'm really trying to fucking hold this all in my mind right now, right? Because this is a very difficult angle, and I'm trying to hold it all in my mind. I'm actually seeing it quite well, but they wouldn't have the patience. Again, like I'm trying to fucking talk about something completely unrelated, using my parietal lobe, while also my astrocytic glycogens being completely taxed, using my prefrontal cortex, and not my motor cortex really, but my prefrontal cortex especially, right? And those are that's the energy that's being utilized to hold the items in my working memory, right? To actually create this schema, right? But yeah, like people who are talented don't have the patience. That's the whole like problem, is the fact that people who understand things better, slightly better, maybe even more significantly better, don't have the patience and don't have the work ethic and don't have the experience of experiencing friction, inertia, inability to understand, right? Because everything comes easy to them, and then they're just left with this, and that's why it's like, you know, fucking wasted talent, talent that never got anywhere. All these rhetorics that exist in media and in life in general is like people who understand things faster don't have the ability to understand that they may have had a slight head start, but now they have a fucking 10,000 hour gap, a deficit to still get through, just like everybody else if they want to be excellent, right? And I know some dickhead will be like, oh, but what about this prodigy, and what about that prodigy, and what about this one fucking guy I knew in my art class, right, who was so much better than everybody else? Good for fucking him. Learn something from him. Learn something from them, right? Learn like exactly the mindset they had, the work ethic they had, how they thought about it, right? What behaviors were they emulating, and accept the fact that it'll take you longer to understand that thing. Again, I'm average to below average. Look at how I'm fucking struggling talking about this shit while trying to literally think about a fucking 6-plane box with a diagonal cross section, like visible and invisible planes with a diagonal cross section inside of it, tilted in a specific way, while also keeping it this size, while not losing the proportions as well, and like not losing the visualization as well. I've already lost it multiple times. I can barely see anything, but it took me 3 years and fucking 9 months to be able to draw this from imagination, right? 3 years and 9 months to be able to get to this point where this is my output, my outcome, right? So people will be there faster than me. People will do less work and be there faster than me. So what is the point? The point is about who you become. The person who has the work ethic, the effort, the ability to be patient, the ability to love the subject, love the journey, love the joy, right? Love the jizzing, everything. You love it all. Love it all. And that's all that matters, right? So rest your brain. All right, back to visualizing, right? But the point I'm just trying to make is the fact that it is difficult no matter who you are. Like, it's just difficult. And if it's not difficult for you, you will experience difficulty at one point. And if you don't, that's fine. But I personally think difficulty is where character is made, right? And some people may look at that and be like, oh, that's so pedantic, or like whatever the fuck other word that people usually use. And by the way, while I'm talking, I'm really trying to visualize. Because again, this is getting my way. Like this seen through a box, like this other side is completely getting my way to visualize. So again, attaching dopamine to that effort and just literally doing my best to visualize the invisible and visible XYZ axis, and then connecting it to the best of my ability, like visible cross section. Again, this is really, genuinely, this is very difficult for my brain to do, right? And I already lost the perspective. So again, like this is the perspective I'm trying to keep, right? Like this is the perspective I'm trying to keep. And very difficult, genuinely very difficult. Like this is exactly what I'm trying to visualize. And yeah, like it's fucking my brain up. It's genuinely fucking my brain up, right? I know people will be, the thing is, like, if you're the type of person who wants to experience no friction, you're gonna be the type of person who literally does not live a life, right? Like you do not, and I don't think that exists. I don't think a life without friction exists, right? And I think friction is where the character is made, right? I genuinely think friction and effort is where the character is made. And if you disagree, I don't care, fuck off. Like, it's as simple as that. I genuinely don't give a fuck, because that's what I truly believe is the effort is the only thing that matters. And of course, you constantly putting in effort, figuring out that you put in the wrong effort, and then realizing that you need to change course and you need to put in effort in a different direction, but just never giving up. Like, absolute perseverance. And again, like, I am literally ghosting this box incorrectly as well. And I'm attaching dopamine to that as well, because I am making mistakes, right? And I'm trying to, and I'm actually seeing the box decently well right now, and I'm trying to hold all of this. Okay, diagonal, visible, let's see, invisible, right? I'm like course correcting the visible, I'm course correcting the angle of the box as I do this as well, right? And let's see, that's the visible one, and then that's the invisible one, right? And obviously I need to like fucking move the box back down here this way. But the other difficult thing is being able to make sure that the box isn't shifting upwards, but also keeping all of this in my mind and on the page at the same time. And I'm like fucking superimposing whatever with all the energy that I can, right? This box with the diagonal cross sections onto the page, and I'm trying to think about the center planes, right? Because I have the liberty to exert that energy to try and do it, you know? But yeah, like, I don't know any fucking professionals. I don't know anybody who's actually spent even a couple hundred hours doing something who says shit. Like, actually, no, maybe the first couple hundred hours is where the bitching happens, right? It's the first valley of despair. After you experience the first valley of despair, valley of disappointment, right? The first initial climb, which basically humbles the fuck out of you and says, hey, you have a lot to go. Here's what it looks like, and here's how much you don't know. And that is the first climb, right? That is my playlist, right? My year 1 to 2 playlist video. This is a video for beginner artists. You are not alone. And literally, step by step, I walk through the 500 plus pages, or how many fucking hundreds of pages, right? Or like the thousands of repetitions and the hundreds of hours spent on those repetitions that I did to showcase that, look at this. This is it. And this is amazing and normal and beautiful. And this is where you become the type of person who literally values this climb, right? Because after the first climb, you either have two options, right? Because you realize there are, after the first peak, right? Let's say this first peak right here is boxes and cylinders, literally just basic perspective. Not easy perspective, but basic perspective. And you always can get better at basic perspective, right? After that, you go to this top, right? And then you realize there exists this. And you're like, ah, shit, here we go again, just like that meme. So you go through this again, hundreds and hundreds of hours, and then you get here, and you're like, oh, but oh shit, here we go again. But every single time you see that new peak, you're essentially realizing and recontextualizing to yourself, like, oh, this is the journey. This is the fucking journey, right? And that is exactly what it is, right? Like, this is the journey. And again, I'm really trying to get this bottom plane, because I'm making this bottom plane too small. So I'm really trying to get the diagonal cross section correct, and I need to move the box here as well. So let me try to think about, okay, I see it now. I see the box, I see the diagonal cross sections, right? And I think maybe it's tilted a bit too much, but I don't care. And now I'm trying to get the center planes, and this is actually killing my brain right now, because I can barely hold the box together. But now I need to think about the horizontal center plane right around here. And again, like, every time I move this hand, I go here, right? I'm like, I completely, like, everything diverges, I lose everything. So I'm trying to think as much as I can about the perspective, and it's very thin, like everything condenses. For me personally, what's happening in my brain is like everything is condensing, right? Like the box is turning from this to something super, super, super condensed, like that, like really tiny, really fucked up, diverging everywhere. So that's why I need to take a step back and not try to reconstruct again, right? Try to just see it all in my mind, right? Try to see it all in my mind on the page. Try to see the box, right? And I can barely see. And this is beautiful. This is why I'm attaching my dopamine to the friction, right? To the norepinephrine, acetylcholine, to the spotlight, to the focus, everything. Like, I'm trying to hold all these items in my working memory. I'm trying to see the box as best as I can, and now I'm trying to, okay, I see it actually pretty decently now, and I'm trying to see the diagonal cross sections, right? Visible, invisible, invisible, and then visible. Okay, I'm trying to hold all of that, and okay, now I can see the center plane. Now I can see, okay, see, I'm doing it from the visible. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. I'm doing the center plane from the visible, and that's what's creating the inertia, I believe, right? And I'm not making it large enough. There you go. Like, I'm not making it wide enough. There you go. And then we have this over here, this center plane, this vertical one, right? And at this point, I can barely see the box. I can barely see the box. I can barely calculate anything. This is just it's like an after image. I'm chasing after an after image in my mind and on the page, right? Like with the calculations that I've held. But I'm gonna rest my brain now. I encourage you to do the same, and then we're just gonna keep fucking going, right? And this is great because like I'm genuinely using recall to the best of my ability to create this box and to create this schema, and it's just sheer effort and consistently keep going, right? And one big thing is like I'm simply continually trying to offset myself the reality that this will take me years, right? I will literally spend years crafting something nobody can see until it's something that everyone will be able to see because it's the foundation that it will lie upon, right? And that is the most important part. Is like this is a foundation that it will all lie upon. Like I'm creating a fucking Blender simulation in my mind. Of course, it's gonna take me years to get to that point, right? And there's many arguments to be had. It's like, okay, why don't you slowly build up to it while you work at it? Like, you know, that way you can still practice like you can get to because my understanding of form is pretty good. Like then I can get to like drawing the thing faster. It's like for me, like this is just the path I'm choosing. I'm choosing to offload and do all the difficult shit now, such that from year 10, year 15 onwards, I have 40 years of just playing and obviously still thinking really hard, but just playing with the form and building my skills in terms of designing these forms and interlocking these forms and putting gesture behind these forms and placing them in a good composition with these forms and adding value and lighting and shading and all these other things. But right now, we are min-maxing. And what we're min-maxing is the most fucking difficult thing in art, which is draftsmanship. 3D, three-dimensional draftsmanship, right? So that's the path I'm choosing. There's many ways to get here. And it's all derived from cognitive friction, holding items in your working memory and doing your fucking best and just continuing to go, right? This is simply one of those paths, but you could do something that's different in nature in terms of like, let's say like I'm going from, let's say there's point A to point B, right? And I'm just taking this route and you're taking this route and somebody else is going like here, right? It all takes you to the same point, right? Some may be better than others. Some most likely will be fucking better than others, more efficient than others. I'm just doing what I believe to be the most efficient based on neuroscience, based on fucking the effort of learning, right? Based on the subject matter, based on interleaving, like all these things. It's just based on my ability and my understanding of like, am I doing it the most efficient way? And the answer is like, okay, to the best of your knowledge, yes, you are, right? But anyways, please rest your brain. Okay, so let's keep taxing our brain, right? And I like the word tax for this because it genuinely is a tax, right? It's a tax on the brain and it's a tax we must pay. Like genuinely, it's a tax that we must pay, right? The effort tax, the knowledge gap, right? The knowledge deficit, the tax to essentially close it through sheer endurance repetition, focusing on the fundamentals and enjoying that, right? Attaching dopamine to the effort in of itself and to the errors in of itself, right? So now I'm really trying to think about the overall box, right? The invisible plane. And I really like thinking about the invisible plane first, because that is what the invisible like XYZ axis, because that is what allows me to create, and I think I'm making this too large, but that's what, there you go. That's what allows me to create the box in of itself, right? From like, I like to visualize the box a little bit better. Right now, I'm making a beautiful mistake where the width, this width of this box, this front plane is super thin. Like this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing something like this, right? And that is inaccurate because this needs to be at least a third wider to really get down the perfect cube. Like that's already a little bit better. Maybe not that wide, but bless me. Okay, no, there you go. But yeah, like, and the thing is, like, while I do this, I will simply reach metabolic exhaustion. And that's just when I've put in, let's see, it occurs when output regression happens. That is the physical manifestation of these glycogen stores hitting their ceiling, causing your brain's rendering engine to lose fidelity. I have notes written down on like the fucking, on my desk, right? And I have these notes written down to inform myself of what's happening in my brain and to inform you as well. Because I genuinely believe the more you understand the science of how learning works and like what's happening with your brain, the more you'll be able to push through it. And some of you may not find that helpful, that's fine, but like I personally do believe that having the knowledge of like what's happening in your brain Like right now, I'm obviously going through like metabolic exhaustion, or like I'm starting to reach it because I can't visualize anything, right? I can't even see the box properly. And I'm trying to recall seeing the box as much as I can. I'm really trying to see the diagonal cross sections, right? I'm genuinely trying to see it all, right? But currently I'm incapable. Like I'm barely able to hold this box at all. Like, and all the visible planes and invisible planes are flickering. The scale, the front plane, because this is where the front of the face is. Like the front plane of the box, like this is where the front of the face is. Like the front of the box is barely there. Like I can, and it's diverging too. So I need to, again, I'm just consistently attaching dopamine. I'm just forcing myself to feel good at these points of friction, and I am trying to visualize everything. And there you go. I'm trying to see the diagonal cross section here, right? And then this, that's invisible, and then there's the visible, and then there's the visible again, and then visible again, and then invisible, and then visible. Oh, sorry, invisible again, right? And I'm trying to hold all that. I'm trying to really hold the box. I'm trying to get the, let's see, the front plane. Oh, sorry, the horizontal center plane, and then the vertical center plane, right? And at this point, I've already lost it, like, because I'm trying to like get the center planes in there, and that means I have to hold the diagonal cross sections, which means I have to hold the box in of itself. But feel good, try to bring it back, right? Try to immediately reconstruct it, right? Get those center planes in order, and then try to get this center plane in order, right? Like this vertical one. And I don't even know if I'm doing this right, because I can barely hold any of this in my mind, but I think it's okay. But yeah, like again, like back to seeing the box, or back to seeing the box, trying to see it again, right? And I keep making the mistake of making this this side plane too large, right? I keep making the mistake of making this side plane a little too large, but that's why I need to keep making this box larger. Sorry, I need to keep making the front plane larger, right? This, like basically what I'm saying is, again, same shit I was saying before, is like I'm making this a little too large, and then the front plane here is too short. So that keeps creating not a proper box, right? Like this is what the box is if this is more what the box would be if we were involving the entire lower part of the jaw of the face, but we're not. We're just involving the yeah, the fucking up to the nose. So this is more accurate, right? This is where we're cutting it off, and even then, that's not like a proper box. So again, trying to really fucking visualize this box, because I don't even think I've, like, I love this angle ref shit, bro, because like I don't even think I've ever drawn a box in this angle, right? So I am struggling, or like I don't think, there you go, this is actually what the plane I've got here is much better. But even then, like, what is this bottom plane? I think it's something like that. There you go. That's a lot better. That is a lot better. So I need to have that as my box foundation, right? And trying to, and my brain wants to keep extending at least one plane or another, but I need to ignore that, right? And I need to see the diagonal cross sections, and I need to hold this box, and I can barely see it. So I'm gonna rest my brain again. It's already been half an hour, so let's try visualizing this one last time. Today's just one of those sessions. I can barely visualize, but again, it's about who you become. It's the effort you put in. It's a constant like enduring of the mental faculties that this all involves, right? And just understanding that like my brain will figure it out, and I will figure it out. It's like the belief that you will figure it out, and that's the main thing that matters, because this skill, all skills, but especially art, man, especially art, it's sheer persistence. It's sheer persistence in what we believe to be the right things to persist in. And there are right things to persist in, and the things that I believe are the right things is just form and line, and creating these mental schemas and like consolidating everything into angles and geometric spatial reasoning. Like that is what has created this. Even though I didn't even enjoy this session, like looking back, like I definitely could have been in a better mindset to enjoy. Like I still ended up creating something that looks believable, right? Whether this woman looks good or not, no, she looks like shit, right? Whether you can tell that this is a fucking mechanical foot, no, you can't, right? Like the detailing and the things I could have done here could have been a lot better. I really like what I did with this guy. I think this is actually what I didn't like at all, like what I did here. But I'm pretty sure, and again, I will believe that I will figure out a way to make this all make sense, right? So, and I just thought of something. We can have a store right here, because this guy is gonna be like just some giant dude, right? But I was trying to figure out scale of how to make him like bigger than a skyscraper, but I don't know if I can do that right now based on like how big I made her, right? And how far away this guy is, right? Like there has to be a way for me to do it, but for the time being, maybe she's coming out of a store. I don't know. But the point is, like, I've already thought of a couple things now, right? Horizon line is still right here, right? So there's a few things that can be done. Okay, thanks for the idea to me, I guess. You just saw real time of me analyzing my own drawing and getting an idea out of it, right? But did I rest my brain? I don't think I did. Fuck, let me rest my brain first, Jesus. Another frame that I've given myself, honestly, is the fact that I have already achieved everything, right? Like, achievement is not the goal, but I'm already that person. Like, I'm already the person who can draw incredible scenarios and all that shit. I'm already the 70-year-old and 80-year-old who has gone through the fucking 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 hours, right? Like, that already exists. This, right now, this reality I'm living in is just the manifestation of the timeline, right? The point in time, right? And I guess manifestation is being used in a different way here, but yeah, it's simply this. Where I am right now is just me going through that journey. Like, what I'm doing right now is just the predetermined journey of becoming or being that person. And it's hilarious. Like, right as I say that, I'm now for some reason having an easier time in visualizing the box and the diagonal cross sections and everything, right? That's actually fucking hilarious. And I think that just has to do with the fact that I rested my brain, and my brain for a little split second right now has consolidated that information. So yeah, like, I'm seeing the box a lot clearer, right? I'm seeing the diagonal cross sections a lot clearer, right? I'm seeing the visible and invisible planes a lot clearer. And now I'm trying to think about the center planes. So again, like, I keep starting with the visible part of the center plane, but that is not accurate, right? So I need to, and again, the second I start thinking about these center planes, everything else starts to go to shit. But that is exactly where, and this is beautiful friction I'm experiencing in my mind, but that's exactly where I need to hold the box to the best of my ability, right? While trying to visualize the three center planes. And I can barely do that. So again, let's try to get the box back again, right? But yeah, like, this is, and these are the things I just tell myself. Constant framing in a way that only benefits my mindset and the fact that I will continue, right? And it all comes down to just effort and enjoyment of effort and application of enjoyment of effort, right? Like, just constantly, it's all skills. It's all fucking skills, right? So again, I'm trying to think about the box, and now I can't think about the box anymore. So that little bit I had is gone. But like, either way, I'm zooming out. I'm trying to really visualize this overall 6-plane box, right? And my hand right here is just me anchoring this bottom left point right here, like my finger over there, right? So it's fucking it's beautiful. Like, and I'm forcing myself to feel good, right? Like, it's a beautiful level of effort when you can't even fathom what you're doing, and yet you force yourself to fathom what you're doing, if that makes sense. Like, let's see, diagonal cross section, right around there. That's my bottom plane, and that's my bottom plane over there. This is too thin. My brain is condensing the front plane again. It's getting too thin, and hopefully you can hear from like how much I stutter my words, and apart from my just inability to speak. I'm a decent speaker. I'm articulate, right? Articulate, right? That's what I said earlier because I couldn't speak. But hopefully you can tell by my stilted speech that my brain is really fucking like all these different components that I'm trying to hold in my mind as the diagonal cross sections, and then now I'm trying to hold okay, I'm holding the three center planes. I see it. The front of the box is still condensed, so I'm trying to bring the front of the box outward to be a little bit larger, right? The front plane of the box, this front plane, but now I'm trying to see the three center planes, and now I'm not gonna do any ghosting actually. Let's just fucking try to visualize this. So you're just gonna hear me be like, would you, but like, the point is I'm trying to visualize, right? So I'm trying to see the box, I'm trying to see all the diagonal cross sections, and now I'm trying to put the three center planes. First the horizontal one, right? First the horizontal one, then the one of the vertical ones, right? That's in the front facing planes orientation, and then the one that's on the side facing where the ear is, right? And I'm trying to hold all that together. And my brain is like, it's fried right now. Like, I'm definitely in output regression, and I'm constantly trying to see this and understand this to the best of my ability. And that's another thing, when I was doing that imagination drawing, I wasn't really thinking about any of this shit. Like, I was barely thinking about any of this shit. So what that imagination drawing was really a very intuitive application. Like, I was thinking a lot in terms of like how things connect and how to make things gesturally flow nice, and like I was thinking about everything but form, you know. Like, I was barely thinking about form. And that goes to show, like, when you fucking min-max form to this extent and you try this hard as I am right now just to visualize all of this shit, right? Like, it makes a huge difference in the calculation, like the intuition of the calculation, right? Because like right now this is very rational, intentional, fucking effortful calculation, and then that imagination drawing was simply a majorly intuitive application of it. Obviously, space was still consistently thought of, but there was nowhere near the amount of effort I'm putting in now towards that. It was all put towards design choices, like composition, fucking like balancing the fucking the white space and all that shit, right? And like the gesture, especially the gesture, and like thinking about scale and constantly thinking about the horizon line. Multiple different things thought of, but that wasn't geometric spatial reasoning, right? But okay, I was in output regression, I lost it. So now we're gonna draw the box after this. I'm gonna rest my brain. That was good effort. That was genuinely good effort. And again, it's the most fucking humbling and most difficult part when I come out of these sessions is being like, did I try hard enough? Because I'm literally talking while doing this. I'm fucking talking while doing this shit. But it's a fucking miracle I can do anything. But yeah, again, it's all a working memory quota, right? Quotient, not quota. It's all a working memory equation, yeah. But anyways, please rest your brain. All right, now comes what the fuck am I saying? Now comes even a more difficult part, which is trying to hold all this in my mind, right? I'm gonna hold the entire thing in my mind, at least not the entire thing, but the diagonal cross sections and the diagonal cross sections, like the seen through box, the diagonal cross sections, and the ellipses, not the ellipses, and the center planes, while I apply the box itself, right? Like while I actually draw the box. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do right now, is just hold it all in my mind while applying to the, oh wait, shit, I'm using the wrong pen. I just realized this is the pen that it isn't fresh, wet, and ripe for the picking, right? So let's get this one down. And again, like I'm really trying to hold everything, but I can barely even see through the box right now because applying while visualizing and calculating is a completely different beast. And that's what I'm doing with the challenge 52 exercises. Like that's literally what I'm practicing, right? But applying while visualizing is a completely different beast, right? And at the same time, again, this box has to make sense, right? This box has to make sense in terms of perspective and like everything I'm visualizing. So I'm taking a step back. I'm just constantly still trying to visualize, and then I'm really trying to hold that visualization. Was I able to do it just now? Not really, no. And that's to be expected. But like while I'm doing it, I'm trying to see through the box and to see all these diagonal cross sections and everything, right? Like genuinely, I'm trying to see it. So let's see. And obviously, I'm trying to add a little bit of convergence. Maybe this is a lot of bit of convergence, but I am trying to. Yeah, this is definitely a decent amount of convergence. But I am trying to see everything that I can through the lens of seeing through the box. And obviously I'm trying to zoom out and still think about everything. And again, like what is this doing? What is drawing this box actually doing? It's removing the cognitive load required to visualize this box, right? And the front plane definitely could have been shorter. The front plane now, like my issue was that I made it too long, right? So this is not like a top tier, great, wonderful fucking box, like geometrically accurate box, even with all those convergences in space. But that's okay, because that's how we learn. And now I'm starting to visualize and see through the box and trying to visualize the diagonal cross sections and everything. Immediately, that's a freed up space for me to do that, right? Because now I only have to think about the inside, like the invisible planes of the box, and the diagonal cross sections that are calculated within those invisible planes and the visible planes, and then immediately start putting in the center planes, right? I'm immediately focusing on putting in the center planes, right? and that, like, and I'm only focusing on the invisible side right now. I'm only focusing on this invisible two sides of the plane, this invisible two sides of the plane, and see, like, it's so hard to even think about what the other one, and this invisible two sides of the plane. Like, because that is the most difficult part. Like, if I can constantly anchor those invisible two parts of the plane, then of each center plane, and like have that be like a schema that I'm built, like that's consistently connected at all times inside this box, then that is something that can easily be just projected outward. It's just mirrored, right, into the other parts, like this visible, this one visible here, right? So that's just the way I'm thinking about it right now. And it's always about making things more difficult for yourself. So like, as my speech is stilted, I would like to again explicitly state that I'm constantly thinking about, I'm calculating the inside of the box, the invisible X, Y, and Z, right? And then I'm calculating the diagonal cross sections, this diagonal, that diagonal, this one, that's all the invisible ones, visible, right? Trying to calculate all of that, and then I'm trying to hold all of them in my mind while calculating just the invisible parts of the center planes, right? There you go, something like that. And that is already very difficult, but it sort of eases up the cognitive load in the sense that I don't have to think about all sides of the center planes, right? The three center plane schema, like those three individual center planes and the consolidated together into one fucking connection, like intersected three of them. But I don't know if this is all going over your head, but because clearly for me it's all fucking in my head. I'm just trying to bring it out and verbalize it, so you know, at the very least you should know he's really thinking about the angles. He's really trying to visualize and calculate and hold all of this in my mind, in his mind at the same time, right? So like, I'm just really leaning into the friction right now, and again, I'm attaching dopamine to the effort. I'm constantly losing it, and I'm just forcing myself to feel good about the effort that I'm making, because it's this attachment to dopamine is where the brain consistently realizes that something needs to change, or like something needs to be addressed, a problem needs to be solved. Now I'm actually forcing myself to try to connect and get all sides of the three center planes that are intersecting. I'm trying to get them to be intersected into one consolidated component, like a schema, right? Like a mental model that's fully consolidated. Like, I'm not like, because the brain right now is, and your brain in general, whatever you're practicing, will be it always starts off with seeing everything as individual items to calculate, and it's only through sheer effort and trying to turn those individual items into like a chunked mental model, a component, a schema, something that's like all of this is actually one thing rather than one line of the plane, the other line of the plane, the other line of the plane, the other, like, instead of that, it's just like, no, this is just a box with the 6 sides with the diagonal cross sections, right? Like, that is what I'm building in many angles, right? And so in this angle, I'm struggling a lot with seeing that, but then in other angles, I don't struggle as much, right? Like over here, I did not struggle with these. I don't struggle with these super subtle angles anymore. This I struggled with. This one I didn't, because I see that like that one is a lot easier for me to do, right? This one I struggled with because I don't think I've practiced and consolidated this type of schema enough, right? So it's just as simple as that. So even here, like, I'm really practicing these diagonal cross sections, or like trying to visualize them, trying to calculate them, trying to see all of that in my mind. Now I'm actively going out of my way I'm forcing my brain to immediately calculate all 3 center planes at the same time. And this is where the friction is occurring, because my brain is actively resisting this calculation. It's genuinely, completely, it can only see this vertical one right now, right? But it doesn't even want to see that. It genuinely doesn't even want to see that. And I have to be like, shut the fuck up. Not only are you going to calculate that one, you're going to calculate the other 2 as well, and then we're going to hold it in our brain. And right now, it's struggling to hold this vertical one, right? This vertical one calculated, while also trying to think about this horizontal one calculated, well, also, and that's the biggest struggle right now. So it's barely even able to calculate the third one, right? Shit, see, I did the visible side again. The third one, which is this one, right? This one, this center plane, right, of this box. So this is what you have to force your brain to, like, this is where you lean into that friction, right? Because you're creating something from nothing. And this is where your brain is releasing all these chemicals, acetylcholine, norepinephrine, right? And I'm sure there's others, but like, these are the main indicators of discomfort, stress, and learning, right? This is where neuroplasticity is at its most heightened. And this is where you attach dopamine to the mistakes that you're making. What mistakes am I making? The inability to even visualize the box and the diagonal cross sections, right, and the seen through planes, and also being able to create the center planes from that, right? Because I'm in output regression. Like, I'm trying my hardest, but my astrocytic glycogen, my brain's energy is completely used up, right? And this is exactly where I need to suck my own dick and rest my brain, because I really leaned into it. Right? But anyways, no, like, that was really difficult. That was amazing. But no, I was kidding. I'm not resting my brain. I'm just going to lean into it even more. But I just wanted to make that joke. It was a really shit joke. But this is exactly where I need to attach dopamine to all the errors that I'm making, which is the fact that I'm incapable of calculating all these things at once, especially the 3 center planes right now. And again, force myself to feel good about the fact that I can't even visualize, calculate anything right now. I'm in sheer output regression. All I see is the fucking box. I see a semblance of the fucking the XYZ, the invisible XYZ, right? And it's all diverging and it's going away. And that's when I rest my brain, when everything goes to shit, and I just lead into that for a little bit longer. Now I have a pressure on my forehead, which means that I was genuinely trying, right? And again, I always feel like I'm trying super hard, and then I feel like an idiot because I feel like I don't understand it, and then I'm just like, no, this is just how learning is, and I just attach dopamine to those mistakes. So I'm telling you, like, this is because of all the fucking hundreds and thousands, like over 1,000 hours now I've spent on just feeling like a fucking moron because of this shit, like all the practice that I'm doing. It's all fucking cataloged. So I'll keep saying it, like, even when I drew this, I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? And of course, there were expectations which made it not as effort focused and enjoyment of errors focused, because there's this disconnect in my brain where imagination drawings I don't see the same way as I literally don't use the same mental model as the same way as I do for all my other practices, and that is incorrect in my opinion. It should be using the same mental model for all of them, which is just effort, errors, and problem solving. Errors and problem solving, right? And I was doing that. I genuinely was doing that, but I'm saying the mindset, like I was doing those things, but the mental framework in which I was applying, like the mental framework I was utilizing while doing those things, which are habits, which is just trying to problem solve. Like I was doing all of that, but I think the main thing was yesterday's session, I was not attaching dopamine to my mistakes. I wasn't feeling good about the mistakes that I was making because I was viewing this in like its own separate entity as like, oh, this is an imagination drawing. I have to make it good and scale and like make it like all that shit. Instead of just viewing it as a stress test, which is what all these are. Like every single one of my practices, imagination or form or anything or geometric spatial reasoning, they're all just stress tests and practices and reflections of my current ability, my ability to try to get better, and then my inability that is reflected through the lines that I make and the forms that I make, right? So that's the biggest thing. Like I just didn't view it properly. But even then, the point I'm trying to make is the fact that it's just constantly trying to be in friction is what resulted in me being able to draw something like this, right? Which is really nice boobs, genuinely speaking, right? Although his perspective is off. This is the fucking tits are going that way, but the horizon line's here, right? But his belly's going this way, so you know. But it's okay. Apparently, asymmetry creates interesting drawings. So, yeah, we'll see. But I don't know if I was making a point there. I guess I'm just still reflecting on like my experiences with this, and I'm just realizing that I simply have to view all my imagination drawings as stress tests, like I was before. But it's easy to lose that, right? It's easy to lose that mindset. I've always had that mindset, or I was always building that mindset, and then boom, like yesterday, I was like, oh, road to Kim Jagi, I'm starting up again, trying to make it look good. And even though I actively was just focusing on the effort, there was a part of me subconsciously that wanted to make it look good, right? And it hurts to say that, man. I'm not perfect, but it's good to know now. Like as I continue to always keep reminding myself, and every time I do that drawing and any drawing, it's just but like, nope, these are all stress tests and these are all just reflections of you trying, right? That's it. Like it's no more, no less. And over a long enough time horizon, you'll continue to get better at being the type of person who tries, right? And because the second you start thinking about the outcome is when your brain is fixated on that, right? Like when you think about like, oh, and after I put all this effort in, that's when I'll make the good drawing. It's like, okay, no, like, yeah, sure, technically, but if that's what it all means at the end of the day, then the game of longevity is lost, right? Because then it goes from the work I'm putting in and the effort I'm putting in to then the effort I'm putting in so that I have this thing, right? And personally, me, myself, and I, that makes things more difficult to put the effort in, because I start thinking about like, it needs to look a certain way. I need to be able to achieve a certain thing within this hour, within this line, or whatever the fuck, within this visualization, within this drawing. And it actually makes it harder for me to put that effort in. So that's just me. Again, whatever part of this resonates, take it. Whatever part it doesn't, right, take it up the ass. Like, simple as that. So please rest your brain. There's a fucking spider. I live in the basement. I've been seeing a lot more spiders as of late. I mean, I try not to kill them. I always at least leave one in my room. There's one actually in the top right corner over there on my ceiling, right, just chilling in the corner. close to the corner. But I saw a giant one a few weeks ago, and I'm pretty sure that fucker is actually what's been killing all the random like little basement centipedes or millipedes that I've been seeing, right? Like ones in a blue moon. I like once in like every fucking 3 weeks, I'll just see one half eaten, and I'm like, okay, and I just throw it in the garbage, right? But this guy, poor spider, just scared the shit out of me. It's not even its fault, right? But it was nighttime. It was like 2 a.m. and I see something giant scurrying with like it's like thick legs. It was genuinely fucking like chunky, right? And I live in an area where these like there's no dangerous spiders. Like I live in Ontario, right? There's no dangerous spiders. At least not where I live in Southern Ontario. There's no dangerous spiders, right? So like especially not in my city. So and again, while I'm talking, I'm already thinking. I'm already putting in a shit ton of cognitive effort, right? But and like especially seeing all the diagonal cross sections is already like immediately like I'm entering friction. So again, what's the skill I'm building right now? Doing all this fucking mental calculation shite while also telling you a random story that has nothing to do with any of this, and my brain has to like juggle all those items in my working memory at all times, right? So I'm just trying to think now, but like yeah, but that poor guy, like I saw him scurrying at night, and I immediately just got my shoe and killed it, and then I felt bad. I even took a video of being like, dude, it's so chunky, it scared me. God damn, I feel bad. But the point being, yeah, there's just a spider in my room. That's it. That's the story. And it just reminded me of the spider that I killed, right? But yeah, I had been seeing more, right? It's lots of fucking, not lots, but like a couple cobwebs here and there, and I'm like, God damn it, can you, like, I know this is your home, but I personally just don't like how it looks. Therefore, it has to go, right? Fucking the human will to destroy all things in its path, right? But anyways, okay, so I'm trying to visualize the box or the insides of the box and all the diagonal cross sections, and now I'm trying to hold all of that while thinking about while trying to calculate and embed the 3 center planes, right? The 3 center planes, and again, oh dude, I'm feeling beautiful friction while doing this. Like I actually feel physical discomfort while doing this right now, right? Like my neck feels this weird, like without voice crack. This neck weird like my neck feels this weird I don't know how to describe it. Like I just feel a genuine discomfort in my body, right? And perhaps that's the fucking anxiety from the caffeine hitting in. This is the fucking because I had a small coffee. But no, like I guess that's just focus. That's just a lack of adenosine. That's just adenosine being inhibited, right? But either way, like that's actually what all caffeine does. It just increase. It doesn't make you smarter. It doesn't do any of that shit. It literally just fucking. If you're a stimulant junkie like me, right? You're just like, oh, it feels all good, and it just gives you more attention, right? But either way, again, trying to really fucking grind my brain right now. I'm really trying to again see through the box, see all the diagonal cross sections, and I'm barely seeing the center planes, but I'm forcing myself to see them to the best of my ability, right? And I'm starting with the invisible ones, right? Invisible sides of the planes. And then I'm trying to get the visible connected, right? The visible connected properly. And okay, so I see like 60% of that connection, right? Like all 3 of them intersected properly. Like I'm starting to see about 60% of it, right? And oh, actually, like just for a split second, I saw about all of it, barely, basically, but barely, right? And this is incredibly fucking difficult. I love this. This is exactly, and I'm genuinely struggling so much right now to see the horizontal center plane as well. But I'm trying to hold it all in my mind, trying to consolidate it all in my mind, right? I'm genuinely like, I am actually like able to, not effortlessly, but because of the sheer effort, it feels almost. Does that make sense? I'm putting in so much effort that it feels effortless that I can see it, but it's because of all this intense effort that I'm putting in. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe that's just me being happy, right? Attaching dopamine to actually like the good thing for once, which is like, or the quote unquote good thing, which is the fact that I can actually see through this box and all the diagonal cross sections, and I can see the center planes. It's going away now. It's fading away because again, the astrocytic glycogen, my brain's energy resource, is being used up. It's being fucking extensively used up by my brain's the prefrontal cortex, right? Like, but just for a split second, I did see it decently, right? And yeah, it's all going away now, and this is exactly where I need to stay. This moment right here is exactly where I need to stay in order to genuinely force my brain to consolidate this information into a chunk. It's called chunking, right? It compresses the data, right? And the data right now is the individual lines, the individual center planes, the individual diagonal cross sections. It's all individual, and it's slowly through just constant effort and just hundreds of hours and letting it work in the background as well when you're practicing other things, right? It's like it's constantly figuring it out, and good sleep, right? Resting your brain, micro gap effects, resting your brain after the session, all that shit. It's like you're just giving it the opportunity to prune ineffective synapses, right, the connections, and to strengthen existing ones. And that's why I keep attaching dopamine to my errors, because again, feeling good about this, the chemical, feeling good and attaching dopamine to the chemicals norepinephrine and acetylcholine, which is what attention and focus. That's what it's spotlighting. Like, it's feeling this discomfort because you're putting all this energy and it's spotlighting. Where is this coming from? It's spotlighting it, right, with these chemicals. And when you attach dopamine, when you feel good about it, you are essentially giving it a very clear spot, like frame to that spotlight. That's like, oh, this is the problem that needs to be solved. And right now, the problem that I'm spotlighting is the fact that I can't consolidate these 3 center planes properly, and I'm actively forcing my brain to try to do it and, you know, be aligned with the diagonal cross sections. And I'm feeling good that it's literally incapable, like my brain is literally incapable of doing that currently effectively, right? And that I'm really leaning into it. And that's exactly where my brain will problem solve, right? Very, very good end to the sentence. Kind of abrupt, but I felt as if it had merit, right? It was nice and impactful. That was the brain, the effort. I don't even know what I said, bro. My brain is like fucking tired. I'm gonna rest my brain again. And then we're gonna try to get the fucking ellipses in there, the ellipses in the sphere, right? And that is obviously something that's beyond my current capabilities in terms of like calculating everything. But that is something that I'm gonna obviously, that's where I have to keep pushing past and just try to see all that. And then after I do all that, I'll have to attach the simplified Loomis head, like the geometric forms that I see with like the sphere for the eyes, the tapered fucking shaved off box for the nose. They're all very difficult forms, by the way, right? The fucking inflated and contour manipulated cylinders for the upper lip and bottom lip, and then the fucking tapered box again for the jaw, right? All very difficult things to do. All very difficult things to do, right? Because that is going to be resting on top of this fucking schema, right? So very difficult. But yeah, let me rest my brain. Oh, and I encourage you to do the same if that isn't fucking obvious at this point. And stay hydrated. All right, cool. Oh man, space, huh? Space is a bitch, man, right? Space. But seriously, this shit's fucking hard. It's fucking. Oh man, it is beautifully difficult. And I'm actively using words like beautifully difficult because what does my brain actually want to say? My brain wants to say it is fucking frustrating, painful, oh, it's a grind, oh my god. But that shit, A, doesn't help, B, I fucking hate those words. Like, I genuinely have trained myself to dislike that association, which is good. That's exactly what I want. Because I think anybody who says shit like, it's a grind, like, you can say the word grind. I think the word has been bastardized. I've said this before. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the word grind, but in this day and age, the grind has become ubiquitous with suffering, pain, and you have to will and force yourself, and like, oh my god, my life is a fucking tragedy because I had to draw some lines and some boxes for like bro, everything is difficult, everything is effort, everything is friction, but everything is interpreted through a specific lens, right? And I actually went through this, like, and I went through this in a completely different context. I'm still jobless, like, I'm still unemployed, I've still been searching, I've still been upskilling, right? I've been doing my best, and like, there's been no quote unquote outcome for all of that, right? I've just been working with absolutely zero indication that, or like very minimal indication, right, that any of this will mean anything, right? But my mindset, especially over the last half a year, was very negative, right? It was not even negative, but like there were more instances of negativity than I would like, right? Because I was still working, I was still doing my best, but I was simply so mentally exhausted because I felt like the lack of external reward, right? External these were expectations outlined, or like I was essentially forcing with the effort itself, right? It's like I was aligning expectations, right? But I was just like, oh, it's a grind, I'm trying so hard, this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, and nothing was happening, right? But then at the end of the day, literally just a couple weeks ago, when I changed it back to, well, I'm still putting in effort, I'm an appreciating asset, I'm building skills, right? And I'm constantly putting myself out there, right? And that's all that matters. Not even like so that I get something, right? Like, which is what I was saying earlier. It's like when I literally feel the best when I purely focus on process and working hard and doing my best and putting in effort, and that's it, right? And simply believing that the abundance is already there. Like I have everything I need, right? And that's it. That's it. And I'm just making space for everything that I need and everything that I have, right? And this is like the whole concept of abundance mindset. I don't really understand a lot of this shit, to be honest. But if the mental framework is the fact that work hard, do your best, don't worry about the outcome, and be grateful for everything that you already have, and believe that you already have everything and you have space for everything in your life, I think that's fine, because that creates a present, fulfilled, grateful individual who, despite any external factors, can continue to put in effort and believe the value is in the effort in and of itself, and continue to learn and that where to direct that effort. So yeah, like that is an outside example I can give, is the fact that like on paper I'm still externally not validated, right? And I don't have the things that would make me could make me happy, but internally I'm consistently practicing the frame, and I'm back to practicing the frame of like, well, just work, control what you can. It's basically like focus on only what you can control, right? And again, like what I can control right now is fucking nothing, because my brain is tired and I'm talking about something talking about something completely unrelated, right? And I do apologize for those of you listening who are like, this guy fucking talks at 2x speed. The answer is yes. I do talk very fast. All right, fucking deal with it. Like, subscribe, give me attention and retention, right? But anyways, back to visualizing the 3 center planes. I'm trying to get the ellipse in here now, right? And this ellipse, this is the front facing one, this is the side, the horizontal one, right? This is the horizontal one, and this is like, I'm intuitively doing this, but I'm trying to calculate it as well, if that makes sense. Like I'm intuitively doing the placement, but I'm trying to think about the center plane. And then this is the ear facing one, I guess, if there's a. And again, I'm making a lot of mistakes here, right? I'm making genuinely a lot of mistakes here, and I think this ellipse in general, or this sphere in general, is not going to be as it's not going to be perfect, because I think this front plane could have been slightly larger, right? Like this front plane could have been definitely slightly larger, right? Yeah, 100%. This the top, sorry, the vertical length of this, of not just the front plane, just the fucking box in general, could have been higher, right? And that's fine. That's fine. I made my goddamn peace with that, right? So this sphere is not going to be perfect, but again, I'm trying to visualize the ellipse, right, and the center planes and the diagonal cross sections, but I'm really trying to put the ellipses in there right now. And it's beautiful because I'm making so many mistakes, right? But I'm trying to put the ellipses in there right now. And then I'm trying to get the, and I'm trying to hold all of that, right? I'm trying to hold all of that to the best of my ability. And whether I'm doing it accurately or not is not really the point. It's just I'm trying to make sense of it all. If I make sense of it all. No, that doesn't really work. AOT. Oh, rumbling opening doesn't really work. And now I'm trying to see I'm trying to, while holding all of that to the best of my ability, I don't know why I said ability like that, but to the best of my ability, I'm trying to get the sphere placed, right? I'm trying to get this sphere placed in it, and my brain is like actually dying, because even just thinking about the sphere with the 3 ellipses inside of it intersected, which is inside the center plane, right? But I can barely see the center plane. That's already like extremely difficult, and I'm trying to hold all of that in my mind. Oh, it's already been an hour. Okay, I guess like we'll just have to A, rest our brain, and then B, immediately just start seeing this entire fucking schema, and then just start drawing this individual's face, right? That's just something we have to do. So let me rest my brain actually. But yeah, honestly, like the more I continue, the more I just keep realizing, right? Because these are all things we have to keep reminding ourselves, but I just simply keep realizing that genuinely, and I mean genuinely, right? But it's always, and I mean always, about how we see reality. Oh shit, I completely fucked up this, because I started, see, like I fucked that up because I was thinking that this is, what's it called? I was literally turning this into like the fucking geometric volume, which is inaccurate, right? Like I have to turn this into the sorry, I was turning into the organic volume, but I have to turn into the geometric one, right? And again, like while I'm doing this, like this is extremely difficult, is like trying to see and hold all these diagonal cross sections in my mind, and the ellipses, the center planes, and the sphere surrounding it, right? And then trying to add forms to on top to all of that. Like on top of all of that, adding forms, right? And making sure the forms themselves make sense, right? And again, like this is all derived from the fucking the schema that I'm trying to hold. Like this is incredibly difficult, like trying to hold all of this in my mind while also thinking about the forms, like literally trying to embed these forms into the space, right? And that is incredibly difficult. Like genuinely, dude, like I can barely see the ellipses. I can't see the center planes. I'm trying so fucking hard to see all that, and my brain it's basically like churning, for lack of a better word, right? It's literally fucking churning because I can't think about anything apart from what I am trying to think about, which is how this is embedded into the space that I've allowed for it to be residing in, right? And that is incredibly difficult, right? That is incredibly difficult. And while I'm drawing these forms, that's all I can think about. Like I can only think about, see, that line was a beautiful mistake. And again, like I'm just forcing myself to feel good on the fact that I can't think about anything else. Like I'm really trying to see this ellipse and this ellipse right now, and then the third one, I'm trying to put it onto the sphere, but I can't yet, right? And I'm trying to like constantly think about the inside of the box. And again, why am I able to think about it right now, even slightly, is because I'm not drawing anything. But the second I start to actually also reason the geometric volumes of this voice crack, but of this, see, literally like right now, like once I'm starting to reason the geometric volume, right, like of the shapes that's actually embedded, like the features that I'm making the geometric volume that's actually embedded, it's immediately, just fucking immediately gone, right? And it's so difficult. Like it's genuinely so difficult to even think about the sphere, the ellipses, anything. Like it's so incredibly hard, much like myself. But like I am trying, but I can't see anything. Like I genuinely cannot. Oh my god, this is amazing. I genuinely can't see fucking anything, right? And like this placement of this eyebrows and its eyes are off. They're off. Like, cause it's supposed to be, the eyebrow's supposed to be the center line, but I made the eyes the fucking center line, and it's because I started with the nose. Like there's so many things that are just beautifully off. Like these micro things, right, that are off. And this guy's lips, I don't even know what the fuck to make of this, but. And again, while I'm doing this, I'm trying so hard to also think about the diagonal cross sections and like the box and like the spheres and everything in general, but I literally like am using all my brain energy to just get this to just like think about the form of what his lips are, right? And obviously I'm adding contours here to like understand it a little bit better. But yeah, like, and now I'm taking a step back and I'm like, oh yeah, I can think about it, barely, but I can like at least try to think about it. But the second we introduce, and I mean this, like the second we introduce, what's it called? Like actually like embedding geometric forms into the diagonal cross section or into the fucking like box itself in the schema, the sphere schema, it all goes to shit, right? It all goes to shit. And that's good. Like if it didn't go to shit, that means I'm not learning, right? And we'll just make the ear a little box, right? And well, like it is I'm trying to think. There you go, the ear is actually oriented incorrectly. I think I actually got the entire box incorrect. No, actually, well, the ear is not, the ear is fine, whatever. We'll just make it oriented as such. There you go. It's just a D, I guess. It's just a fucking D. But yeah, I can't think of anything right now. And then I'm trying to think about also. Well, I'm really trying to think about the schema. I can't. This is beautiful, but I'm really trying to think about it. And now I have to think about because I've never drawn the Loomis head in this angle, right? I've been doing the top. I've only done it with the top ones so far. So this is going to be incredibly difficult, genuinely incredibly difficult for me to think about the schema, right? That is being utilized, or like the Loomis jaw that's being utilized, right? And I have to think, like, what the fuck did I do here? Like, literally what did I do, right? Where does it even come up against? Like, I might have to look over here and be like, oh, it's coming up maybe the halfway point of the eye or some shit. I don't know, bro. I don't know. And let's see, like, I have to think in terms of a sculptor, right? We have to think in terms of sculptor. We have to think in terms of, like, where's the other part of the ear? And where is this actually, like, where's this jaw? Something like this, right? Like right around there. Something like that. And this is the jaw, perhaps? Right? Because it's going around town. But something like this. And then we have the Loomis, sort of this little like jaw. And it's coming down here as well, right? So what does that look like when it's coming down here? It's something like, and I'm not thinking about anything right now. That's obviously off, right? That's obviously off, but this is basically what I can fathom right now in terms of the Loomis jaw and like the way this is all cut. Whew, that was very difficult. I'm gonna rest my brain. I think it's okay. I don't think it's anything incredible, but I think it's okay. I'm gonna rest my brain. I couldn't really think about anything there. That was amazing. That was genuinely incredible. Like there's another, like, there's definitely at least 200-300 hours of effort that I can put on the table, right? But I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well, and then we will get back to it. Okay, cool, wonderful. I don't know what other random bullshit words I want to be saying right now. But yeah, let's just draw the schema that I'm trying to visualize now, right? Like because that is the most difficult part, of course. And again, while I'm doing this, I'm still doing my best to visualize everything to the best of my ability, right? Like in terms of like what I'm trying to consolidate and see all the calculations in my mind, right? And it's beautiful. Like I love making mistakes, and that's something I have to keep training myself and reminding myself, is the fact that like genuinely it does feel really good to keep fucking up and to try to fix that fuck up, of course, right? To try to fix that fuck up. But I do enjoy it. I genuinely am, and I don't know how many times I'm gonna say the word fucking genuinely, but I have, and I don't know how many times I'm gonna stutter and be like, I. But I have learned to. I really have learned to. Oh, fuck off, oh my god. God damn it, I dropped my pen. I dropped my pen cap. And I don't know why I'm doing a Texan. Is that like Sandy's accent? Right? What was that, SpongeBob me? Ain't nothing, right? Something like that. Fuck, I dropped this pen cap too. That was this one. But anyways. Jesus Christ. The thing is, pee pee poo poo. No, the thing is, I do. Damn, I got the center line wrong here. I do think it's all trainable. I do think it's all trainable. It's something we have to keep reminding ourselves to keep training ourselves, right? And it's it's something that it is constant effort. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I'm just trying to think out loud in that sense. And again, I guess I'm trying to fucking give myself something to think about while I continue making these beautiful mistakes, right? Because even like these center lines and the lines that I'm drawing here, right? They're not perfect. They aren't perfect whatsoever, right? But it's about me constantly reinforcing what I do understand, right? And what I'm trying to understand. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, man. I guess this is like filler time, right? Am I padding? Are we padding the episode, right? Is this like when fucking Goku is still powering up for the fucking 15th episode, right? Which honestly, as a kid, I had no fucking patience for. I skipped all of that shit. So when everybody talks about like, oh, I loved all the power-ups, I was like, what the fuck? I skipped it. After the first 2 episodes where he's still fucking powering up, I was like, fuck this shit. I am skipping it. Like, I did not give a single shit, right? Like, I don't... I hate filler. I just hate filler. I hate padding for time, right? I hated it when they did that shit. That was actually one of my biggest critiques with Dragon Ball, even as a child, right? Was the fact that it was so annoying. That's why I loved Avatar: The Last Airbender, because that shit had no filler. And I will die on that hill. I mean, I don't think it's a controversial take. Avatar: Last Airbender, good. Yes. Where the fuck? What other? Oh, it's this one, right? Okay, yeah, it's this one. But I was like, what plane am I at? Which plane have I lost? There you go. And obviously, like, this fuckery in and of itself makes it really hard for me to understand where I am. But like, that's basically what I was trying to visualize, right? And then let's get the ellipses in there, right? I think do I use the gray pen still for the ellipses? Yeah. Okay, so all these different pens that are being utilized. Yeah, fuck it, we'll just use the black pen, right? It's annoying to use the gray pen. The gray pen bleeds ink or like absorbs ink so much that it doesn't even let me focus on my lines, right? And is that a cope? Is that me fucking coping? Possibly, but let's see. And of course, this is still a very difficult skill to think about all the what am I trying to say? Trying to think about all like this center, and then how it's evenly placed, and then to make a decent ellipse out of it is of course a very difficult skill. And that's why I like Challenge 52. I've been working on that, right? See, so like that ellipse was horrendous and beautiful. Like, it's beautiful that it's bad, right? Like, I'm again training my brain to be completely okay with the fact that it's shite. I don't even know where this ended up. Something like this. So I got this corner wrong, and then we will draw the fucking and then we'll draw the ellipse that's going through all of this. So I actually got the ellipse wrong. So this face actually is like in the wrong plane, but let's see, now we'll draw this, not the ellipse, sorry, the sphere. And this sphere is gonna be way too wide. Because this box is way too wide, but it's okay, that's what it is, right? Constantly just kind of trying to build a fucking schema for Christ's sake, right? But yeah, that was a good session, and it's the garbage that, and I'm not going to use the black pen for about the ellipses anymore. God, you can't tell what's going on. The gray pen was definitely better. Okay, the gray pen's definitely a better choice. But yeah, with that being said, please rest your brain after this session. Hope you tried a lot. Hope you did your best. Because all we can do is just do our best in the given moment. Like, and for me personally, I'll always think that my best wasn't enough, right? But then it's just about taking a step back, be like, no, bro, you were pretty fucking like in it, and you were pretty tired, and you're trying to figure things out, and you were. It's just like constantly re-understanding and reminding that the friction and the discomfort and the trying to push through and trying to understand and literally feeling like you don't get anything was the learning session, right? And it's just constantly reminding yourself of that. And that's why I focus on, and I encourage you to focus on just the engineering of the mind, the neuroscience. It's okay, I'm building somebody who can understand how to learn, who can practice these things, attach the dopamine to the friction, keep logging data, keep logging errors, and just doing my best to keep reminding the errors in the data and everything that I'm making such that I get better next time, right? Like now next time I do this is gonna be another bottom angle because clearly I struggle with this, right? Visualizing it, and just gonna keep going. Yeah, just gonna keep going, right? And let's say like once I have this like 80% down, like this entire mental model in any angle, probably gonna be a couple hundred hours, a few years, right? Once I have that down, then and only then, well, then it'll be like a fucking incredible speed run, because then I'll just be speed running like everything else, because this foundation will just, everything else will be lying on this foundation. You know what I mean? And after that point, it's like, okay, just put the features there. just put the features on it and you're chilling, right? But, and of course that just comes down to like also just now that I'm doing the road to Kim Jong-il again, constantly just practicing drawing people, like whether I have that schema consolidated or not, just like constantly just fucking practicing drawing people, drawing the bodies, doing everything, just getting to that point, just again, like forcing myself to do my best to apply something even if I don't understand it, right? But that's just me thinking out loud. So with that being said, hope you put a lot of effort in, hope you tried your best, and as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing, and please